Hi, friend. This episode is all about what I would do to get new major donors. So, this can be a challenge, particularly if you do not come from a wealthy community, if you do not have a background of being connected to wealthy individuals, then this is going to be particularly helpful for you. If you are looking to grow your donor community, your base of supporters, if you're looking for new monthly donors, if you're looking for new major donors, this is going to be helpful for you. And particularly if you feel like you've tried everything, like you've tried ads, and maybe that didn't produce the results that you wanted. Maybe you've tried doing events, you've hosted galas so that you could coax your board into inviting their network, and those people were difficult to convert to donors, or they gave to the gala, but they didn't really become a supporter. Or let's say you've done some of my strategies. You've hosted intimate events hosted by board members or different longtime volunteers or donors who are bought in, and that didn't really produce the results that you were hoping for. Whatever the case may be, let's talk about how to get new donors, and in a way that doesn't feel sleazy or creepy or weird, or like you need to sell people's data to coax them onto your mailing list or something. Like, I don't know, like what tactics people are actually resorting to. But if you're looking for something where you can build authentic connection with actual human beings who are mission aligned, values aligned, care about the work that you're doing, and are ready and willing to step up and give, here's what I would do and what I have done that works to get new donors. So, in order to get started, it should be said, first thing is first. If getting new donors is a priority for me, like let's say my goals for this fiscal year are that I need to raise $2 million and that I'm looking to bring in 20 new major donors. So if I'm looking to raise 2 million and 20 new donors, then it's important to understand the current donors that I have. Where did they come from? What strategy did I use that was successful? In order to be able to move forward with intelligence, we need to look at our data and see and understand success. And nothing makes me madder than a wet hornet. Like people not understanding what they're doing and how it leads to the results that they want. And they just chalk it up to luck. Well, I just got lucky. No, you didn't. Yeah, is luck involved? Sure. But if you brought in 10 new major donors last year, take a look it up, find out. Then you were doing something right. It wasn't all luck. So get better at understanding and discerning where your success is coming from. And if I see that I reached out to or made 50 asks to 50 different individuals, so I heard no 40 times from 40 different people, but I got 10 people to say yes, then I can okay, well, if I need to get 20 new people this year, then it stands to reason that I would need to reach out to even more than 50 people. If nothing changes, if I don't really learn from what I did and improve my skills, analyze my outreach, take a look at what's working, then let's say I need to set a goal of how many people I need to reach out to. Because again, if major gifts is your priority and your strategy and how you want to grow revenue, then we are looking at a game of connecting with people. The game that we're playing is of building relationships. How many people can you connect with? That's the question. How many people can you build a relationship with online, digitally? This is the question that I would ask myself. So, if my goal is 20 new donors, then let's say I'm going to set an output goal. The KPI, the key performance indicator that I want to track is I need to connect with, let's say, 80 people. If I'm hoping that 20 will commit to being a donor, how can I connect with 80 people? So then I'm looking at what are the daily habits, the weekly habits that I need to track, because new donors is a priority. It's a top priority. Then that's what I need to track. So I would then think about it working backwards. If there's 52 weeks in the year and I need to connect with 80 people at minimum, new people, then what is that? Well, I'm not actually working all 52 weeks. So let's say I'm working 48 weeks. So then that's roughly a person, two people a week-ish. But of course, I'm going to take vacation, I'm going to take time off. So let's just say that's really connecting with 2 new people a week on average. Now, given the fact that this is a priority for me, and given the fact that I'm trying to turn up the heat on my output, on the things that I have control over that I know are going to raise major gifts, then I actually want to do more than 2 a week, because I want this to be something that becomes a flywheel where it builds momentum, and I can, rather than spacing out the success over the course of a year, I'd rather push at the beginning. Just this is knowing how I work. I'm not saying you should do this. This is what I would do. I would rather push at the top and then let the success and the early wins give me the wind to keep going consistently over time, when there's inevitably going to be a dip or a plateau at minimum that's going to come over the course of the next 12 months. So I know how I work. And in order for this to become a habit, I'm building a new habit. I'm going to need success from the start to keep me going. And so the more people I connect with up front, the quicker I'm going to get to a yes. Yes lives in the land of no. And many of us are not willing to traverse the land of no. We don't like hanging out in the land of no. So I would track how many people I connected with and how many people I invited, or how many offers I made for people to donate, to give a gift, and how many no's I collected, how many yeses I got, and how much cash I brought in the door that day. I would track these 5 things on a daily basis. And since I want to do more than 2 a week, I would say 2 a day would be my goal. 2 a day. 2 a day is clear, simple, easy, doesn't take a lot of time. And at the end of the day, the last 30 minutes of my workday, I'm looking at my activity and what I did, and I'm tracking that in my KPI tracker. So I'm ending the day with taking a look at my wins and feeling accomplished, and it's going to help me stay on track. It's going to help me to see where my energy is going, what's working, and what isn't. So let's get into how I would do this. I would leverage LinkedIn, and that's the place where likely your potential major donors are. LinkedIn is where business owners are. LinkedIn is where career people are. LinkedIn is where there is the highest percentage of millionaires on any social media platform. They're on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is for people who are hiring employees, meaning they are an employer, meaning they're a business owner or a senior executive in a company who has a budget, who has a successful career, you could argue. These people are on LinkedIn. So that's the platform that I would choose. I would let go of all other platforms and I would go all in on that one. And I would start posting both on my nonprofit page and sharing wins, sharing pictures, sharing stories, sharing video, sharing updates, anything that is, quote, newsworthy. And I would write like I am telling a friend, like I'm telling a friend about what's happening. I would write in a conversational way. You can certainly use the language that's within your brand guidelines or however you talk about your work, but I would do it in as simple, clear, plain spoken language as possible. And I would continually do that. I would post every single day in the morning. And if I'm the executive director or the development director, I would interact with that post on the nonprofit page. I would comment on it. I would like it. It gives visibility to my network. I would connect with people who I think fit the profile of the type of donor that gives to my organization currently. So, for example, I am on the board of the Teaching Well, an incredible organization. We are all about teacher and educator wellness and creating healthier culture inside schools and investing in leaders' wellness. And some of our most loyal, enthusiastic financial supporters and volunteers are retired teachers. That makes sense, doesn't it? The people who would care about the well-being of teachers are retired teachers. So that would be a profile, you could say, a demographic of the type of donor that I'm looking to connect with. You could obviously get Sales Navigator in LinkedIn. You could go all in. You could search for retired teachers. You don't need Sales Navigator in order to do that. I'm just walking you through what I would do. In my LinkedIn posts, I would use language that connects with the, quote, psychographics of the donor that I'm looking for. Meaning, what are their values? What are their attitudes? What do they care about in this moment? How does that connect with our unique way that we do what we do, with our values, with our mission, with how we do our work? Likely, no one does the work the way that you do and maybe in the context in which you do it. There are things about your mission and your organization that are unique. And I would double down on that in every single post. That I would also post as from myself, from the profile. So if I'm the executive director, I would post about the things that I'm proud of. I would brag. I would post about my team. I would shout them out. I would post about my board members who go above and beyond. I would share updates. I would share wins, programmatic wins, stories of impact. And if you need to keep people anonymous, then do that. Don't share their name. Don't share the details. You can still share stories of transformation and how what you do is changing lives in a way that is dignified and honors your community. Totally fine. I would do this every single day. People will begin to take notice. You will get more and more requests to connect with people. Now, I do not me, Julie, as the fundraising coach and strategist, I do not connect with everyone who wants to connect with me. They can follow me if they want to see my stuff. There's a limit on how many folks you can connect with on LinkedIn. And some people, I don't know you. I had hardly have any mutual connections. You're a fellow consultant. I have a lot of friends who are fellow consultants. I'm good on that front. It's just not a priority for me. So I'm not going to connect with everyone, but people ask to connect with me every single day, multiple people. But I post every day on LinkedIn. This eventually creates greater visibility because the vast majority of folks on LinkedIn do not post content. They just watch, they observe, they lurk, right? They're just looking and they're not creating. So you need to begin creating. This is what I would do. Here's where it goes from being a content creator to let's build relationships. So anyone who comments, anyone who likes or reacts to a post, both on my nonprofit page and on my profile, and anyone who asks to connect with me, and I see them as fitting that profile, and let's keep it in keeping with the teaching well example of a retired teacher or someone who, like myself, comes from a family of educators. I consider myself an educator for sure, but I'm not working in a public school, right? I'm not a teacher in a school setting. So it could be that I'm reaching people who care about education, who care about our young people, who care about the well-being of educators. That's me. I fit that profile. And I'm a generous person. So I give to the teaching well. It's a joy to do so. And I am on LinkedIn. So connecting with the people who are commenting, who are reacting to posts, and messaging them, requesting to connect if you're not already a connection. I would do this every single day and reach out and say, hey, thanks so much for liking the post from today or from yesterday, whenever it was. Really appreciate your support. That's really kind, whatever it is. How'd you first hear about the teaching well? Or how'd you find me? How'd you see me on LinkedIn? How did you end up finding me? Something like that. Strike up a conversation. A lot of this comes down to your willingness to put yourself out there and build friendships with people, like an authentic connection with another human being who seems to be interested in what you're doing. They say, oh, I saw that we have a mutual connection. I saw they liked your post. I went and I checked out your nonprofit. And I really think what you guys do is really cool, or something like that. Or they don't even have to say all that. They could say, we have a mutual connection and I wanted to connect. Oh, that's amazing. How did you end up connecting to that person, right? Start a conversation, get to know people, build relationships. Like, can you build relationships in real life? Yes, you can. Can you build relationships with strangers through social media? This is going to be the primary way in which I would get to my goal of 20 new donors in that fiscal year. So I would do this every single day. Did I connect with 5 people who fit the profile and the psychographics of my prospective major donors who believe that education matters, who really cares about teacher wellness and that we are failing our teachers and our students? We got to do better. That's a priority for them. I would start out a post that says, like, sharing the problem. Did you know that 5 out of 10 teachers are burnt out, right? And, something like that. The people who care about that issue are going to see that content and be more likely to connect with it because I'm hooking them with something that matters to them. So I'm keeping in mind the type of person that I want to attract, and I'm constantly speaking to them in a conversational way in my posts daily. And at the end of my workday, I am tracking who I connected with, who I DM'd, who did I invite to move forward, going from cold to warm to hot in terms of their knowledge about what we do, in terms of gauging their interest and getting more involved. Did I qualify them as a prospect in connecting with them and invite them to take the next step, whatever their next step is? So these are follow-up questions, right? I'm asking, hey, it seems like you care about what we're up to in terms of educator wellness. How did you get interested in that? Or how are you connected to the education system? I'd go look at their LinkedIn profile and see, do they have a background in education? Were they a teacher previously? Did they work for an education nonprofit? Are they on the board? I mean, the great thing about LinkedIn is there's so much information on who this person is usually that you can use that to build a conversation. Hey, I see that you were a former teacher. Wow. What was that experience like for you? Why did you move on from teaching? I mean, get to know people, understand them. Then you could get to even more if they seem interested, if they're engaged in conversation, you can get to even more direct questions. Hey, are you interested at all in getting involved with our organization somehow? An even more direct question from that place would be, hey, it sounds like what we do is really in line with your own personal mission. Would you consider being a monthly donor? Or would you consider supporting us financially? That's the biggest need that we have right now. And just see what they say. If you think that it's too soon for that and it's not totally clear, I would find out, hey, what are you really passionate about? Is education a passion of yours? Find out, ask follow-up questions, get to know people, and help them to take their next step in getting to know you and your organization and what you're doing. If it's not yet clear that they are in perfect alignment and it's, oh my gosh, it's just like love at first sight kind of thing, they just love what your organization does and they're so enthusiastic, then, it could be they just heard about you and it's new. So then you could say, hey, watch this video, check it out when you get a chance. You're really going to love it. It's a highlight video of our recent trip that we did to blah, blah place, or a tour of our facility and you get to see the impact up close. It's 5 minutes. Check it out. That could be a next step. It could be, hey, it seems like you have really great questions about what we do. Check out our annual report. Here's the link. Let me know what you think. I would love your feedback. I welcome it. It could be, hey, it sounds like you have a lot of great questions. Would you want to hop on a quick 15-minute call? I would love to answer your questions and just get to know you better. Great. Now you had a meeting booked from someone who put a positive comment on a LinkedIn post, and you're actually moving that relationship forward. So respond to comments, reactions, and connection requests with a direct message. That's what I would do with every single person who seems like they could be fitting the profile of the kind of person I'm looking for. And if I'm not sure, to ask follow-up qualification questions. Find out who they are and what makes them tick. If they don't answer, move on with your life. Move on to the next person. And continuously posting every single day, the algorithm will put you in front of more people. And again, most of LinkedIn users are not posting content. So it is going to be easier than it would be on other social media platforms to stand out, to build a community, to build an audience, to connect with people. And you can also reach out to people and connect with them. So this is what I would do every single day. This is how I would find new people This is how I would book meetings with new people. This is how I would invite them to do whatever it is that I need help with. If I need more volunteers, this is how I would do it. If I needed more major donors, this is how I would do it. And I would every single day track my key performance indicators. How many people am I connecting with? And how many people did I ask for a donation? And how much money did I bring in that day? This will be really telling because it will help you on a daily basis. The very next day, I'm going to look at my KPIs and see, okay, yesterday I connected with 5 people, check, hit my goal. My daily goal was at least 2, right? 2 a day. But I didn't ask anyone for a donation. Let me go back and see why that is. And look at your DMs in LinkedIn, or look at if people say, hey, I don't check LinkedIn often. Can you email me? Great. Then check your inbox. You could do this exact same strategy using email. It doesn't have to be LinkedIn direct messages. I do that all the time. So then I would say, okay, well, then what is it that I need to do to get to a place where it's the right time to make an ask? Do I need to share my annual report with all 5 of those people from yesterday? Do I need to share the highest performing post on Instagram or LinkedIn that we have that is educational, that gives credibility to what we're doing? Is there a page on our website that performs the highest that I want to send to them so that they can see what we're really all about? And then follow up with them. Hey, did you have a chance to look at that? What'd you think? I welcome your feedback. Would really love to know your thoughts. This is how I would build 20 new major donors from scratch, from nothing. It's not like you're asking your board to post about you on LinkedIn, which would be amazing, but you're not dependent upon anybody else for this. It really is about you and the control that you have over your time, your copywriting, your storytelling, how you communicate your impact, your message, your unique positioning as an organization, how you tell the story. Every single day, are you telling the story? And are you connecting with people? Are you putting yourself out there? If you're not doing these things, then you're not doing everything you can to bring in new major donors. So I would put it on myself. If I'm hoping to get 10 new major donors in the next 30 days, then I need to connect with maybe 20 people a day. So I'm going to need to spend more time on that, which then becomes a question of, well, what am I letting go of? What am I going to stop doing that isn't raising money, or it's not raising enough money? The ROI, the return on investment, is low. It's not high enough to get more of my time moving forward because my goals have changed. Now I'm prioritizing new major donors. So then I'm going to need to connect with new people every single day and track my progress. And I will see, wow, I really am hardly connecting with anyone. What's the problem? Am I overthinking this? Am I going back into my old perfectionist ways where I'm just tweaking and tinkering this post to death before I post it? Guess what? If you're doing something every single day, not every single post is going to be a home run, and it's okay. What's really great about posting on LinkedIn is that it allows you to get feedback. You will be surprised to see what actually resonates with people. You'll start getting inbound messages, and you'll see some stuff that maybe you worked really hard on totally flopped. So you get immediate feedback based on the engagement. And it doesn't really matter how many likes or comments or yada yada, but that you're connecting with people. Even if 2 people like the post, can you DM those 2 people who liked your post and say, hey, thanks so much for liking my post. How did you find me? And building relationships with the folks that you have. There are people who have commented or liked or reacted to your nonprofit page's posts, and you have not reached out to them. You have not connected with them. And some of them are potential major donors. You're going to need to collect no's before you get to the yes. It's okay. Start conversations in DMs and qualify folks. Hey, is our mission something you're passionate about? Hey, do you want to get more involved? Do you want to learn more about what we do and how you might get involved? I'm happy to share options. The number one need we have right now is financial support, whatever it is, whatever that is. But you've got to build relationships with people online. This is what I would do. And if my goals are aggressive, then I would need to spend an aggressive amount of time doing this work. And as I see success, it's going to give me wind in my sails to continue generating more and more connections with more people. When you experience success with something, you make more time for it. So it will become easier over time to keep this habit up. And I would go hard in the beginning so that I can slow off of it a little bit later after I've experienced the initial success. That will give me the energy to keep going. It's called momentum. And I want it to work in my favor. So that's why I would structure it that way for me. You could also, additionally, if you wanted to put some more effort towards it, I would connect with all of my board members and I would look through some of our mutual connections if we have any. I would look through some of their connections if you can. Again, this is helpful with Sales Navigator, and to see if any folks there fit the profile. And if you wanted to, you could do some outbound outreach and request to connect with people. Hey, I see that you're connected to our mutual friend and board member so-and-so. Would really love to connect with you. And then you can strike up a conversation in direct message once they accept your request. If they do. If they don't, then you can move on and connect with someone else. This is what I would do to build new donors, and I would track everything that I'm doing, my outputs. I cannot control what people do and what they decide to give. All I can control is what I'm doing and my output. So I'm going to track that and learn from my results. If I'm making a lot of asks, but I'm not closing any money, then where can I go back and learn from my approach? Is it that my timing is off? Is it that my approach isn't great? Is it that I'm asking the wrong people? Do I need to be more clear with my ask? Do I need to follow up? Am I just giving up too soon? Do I make one ask and then I just never talk to this person again? What is the problem? And tracking my KPIs on a daily basis will allow me to move forward with intelligence. That's what data is. It allows me to learn from what I'm doing really quickly. I don't need to wait till the end of the quarter or the end of the month to understand where my time is going. So this is what I would do to get new donors. This is how I would push the pavement. I would occasionally, because every time that I speak and I hit record, people reach out to me. People end up clients. People tell me how inspiring or helpful or whatever encouraged they are, which is an honor. So for LinkedIn, for me, I wouldn't just do long form posts. I would mostly do that, but I would also show up live. I would get one of those free streaming services. You can do StreamYard. There's lots of options. You can Google it. You can look it up on ChatGPT. What are the best options for streaming on LinkedIn and going live? And I would show my face and go live on LinkedIn. I actually need to do this myself as I'm saying this, and people can see that I'm a real human being. And you could just record yourself for 10 minutes talking about your work and what's exciting you, what you're looking forward to. If you're just launched a strategic plan, could you talk about it for 5 minutes? If you are looking for board members, could you go LinkedIn live and talk about the kind of person that you're hoping to attract to join your board? And why? Why are you looking for new board members? Could you go and talk about at the end of the month, At the beginning of a month, you could talk about the month in review. Here's the stuff that we got done. Here are the challenges that we came up against. Here are 3 wins that we had programmatically. Here's a story of someone's life who changed. There is so much that you could do to create content that will attract the right kind of person, where you're speaking to that person conversationally and you're connecting with their heart. They're on the same mission as you. They're a generous human being who wants to be a part of the solution. They're already aware of the problem. Maybe they don't know the extent of the problem, and maybe they don't know how your nonprofit is addressing it in a unique way. But speak to the person who you hope will become a donor, and you will connect with those kinds of people. So that's what I would do. And I hope that this was helpful to you. If you made it this far and you are a regular listener, I just want to say thanks so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the Courage community. And I'd love to hear from you. So please connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me, DM me. I'd love to hear from you. My DMs are open. If this was helpful, let me know. And let me know what action step you're going to take as a result of listening to this episode. I'd really love to hear that. And what goal are you going to set for yourself? So, what action step? Give yourself a deadline of when you're going to get it done by. Give yourself a goal. What is going to be your daily KPI? And DM me on LinkedIn and let me know. I would love to hear it. Thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time.